Yo, Grim here. I have a Nemleria deck profile here. Uh, it's a pretty cool deck. It's not that strong or consistent. It's got the ability of like OTKing quite well due to the fact that it just summons a lot of monsters really easy. But it's kind of like another banish deck in a sense. Its playstyle is quite cool. I feel like they're missing like one or two cards to make them actually half decent. But at the moment, they're quite a fun deck anyway. So to start it off, it's triple chocolate. So the way I've ran the deck in the ratios for their monsters is I run triple chocolate, triple candy, one ice cream cone boy, and then one cake. So the purpose behind these is chocolate, in my opinion, is better. So this is an OTK version of the deck. Chocolate, in my opinion, is better, out more monsters because he gains attack. So overall, I consider this one the best one, and he has the better stats, in my opinion. Candy is nice in the sense it's protection from targeting effects, but it's apart from that though, its attack's quite low, and it's not like crazy important. I see a lot of people who run 3 of this and 2 of chocolate, but I'm like, I don't really see the relevance in running 2 candy, except the fact, yeah, it can protect your continuous spell from like galaxy cyclones and stuff like that, or your Nemelarias. But apart from that, like if you're having to protect a Dreaming Nemleria with this, like there's a good chance your opponent's just going to get rid of the Dreaming Nemleria before you can get it in your X deck face up, and then this is useless. One cone, you only need one of this. It's a hand engrave effect. Does summon itself back out. Apart from that, I don't use the trap card. So its other effects not really useful. I'd say running a trap card might be a good idea though. It does get this out of deck. This is quite useful, but I use it as a one-off just because it's very situational. Like it gains some attack. That's not really relevant. It can put a Dream Nair from deck to your face X deck, which is quite relevant. And it changes another face of monster on the field to face on defense. I think if this was like a level 4 monster, that'd be cool. That just added the Lemlaria face up in the X deck. Could you just normal summon it and then put a face up, and then you and your guys would be live to summon from the X deck. Summon from your hand because you have a face up. But it has the bottom deck of monster to summon itself from hand. So it's kind of situational. The Book of Moon effect's kind of nice because it doesn't target. But so yeah, it's a really small, like, 7 cards for the bigger Nemleria monsters. Then I run, of course, triple of the actual streaming Nemleria. You kind of need to maximize on hers. But that's it for Nemlerias. And then I run triple Fenrir because Fenrir is a very good card. Just pretty standard. 2 Gren Marju. It is a banish deck at the end of the day. This card wins me a lot of games. Gets really big really easily. But 2's a nice amount. You don't want 1 and you don't really want 3. It's just a nice amount to have 2 of them. Triple Eater Millions. This card's really helpful for the deck. The fact you can just dump your entire X deck pretty much for him is handy. A lot of times I don't ever banish like 15 straight off the bat. It's usually like 5 or 7. As long as I have some left over to use other Nemleria effects. But it's nice to have that option that if she's face up in your X deck, just to dump your entire X deck, summon him, and then you can use Dreaming Nemleria. Then I run 2 Nib and triple Ash Blossom for my monster hand traps. Yeah, Nib's pretty nice. Getting over the Nib token's a bit awkward. Like Gren can sometimes be over it, but it depends how much stuff you tribute. Typhon isn't out to the Nib token, and so is Relinquished Anema. So you can, as long as you summon it to where you can then link off your level 1s into Anema to take the token, it won't ever really be much of an issue. And Ash Blossom, it's just a good card. So that's my monster count. I run a fair bit of monsters. So, and then for spells, I run 2 of the Tower. You only need 2 of it. You can get it from grave as well, Dream Nemleria. But if you only have 1 and it gets banished, it's probably just game over, honestly, because it's your protection and stuff. I mean, this is an OTK variant, but you do sometimes go into like a bit of a grind game, which makes me want to consider playing the trap card, because the trap card's really helpful in the grind. But for now, it's just them two. Then I run triple Book of Eclipse. This is a really cool card, to be fair. Like, helps me out a lot, just interrupting boards, getting negates out of the way. Even just helping me, honestly. Like, if someone makes me go first, it's just a good card overall. Then triple Extravagance. There is no neg, so you can run Desires as well, and you can run Prosperity if you want. I consider Extravagance better because the extra card helps. Extravagance is nice because of the extra card you get. Prosperity is cool because you can search for like the Dreaming Nemleria to get your plays off, but the fact that then halves the damage is like, oh, well, then you just can't kill them that turn. You ideally want to break a board and kill them because you don't have many interruptions in this deck. And then Desires is still a good one. I just opted to play triple Extravagance and only Extravagance. You could do triple Desires and triple the spell that ditches level 10s to draw two, because then you wouldn't have the restriction of your draw Desires and another draw card. If you draw Extravagance, sorry, another draw card, the Extravagance kind of contradicts the draw card. But this, I just like 3 of this. I think that's a nice ratio. And then I run triple Sweet Dream Nemleria. I kind of need 3 of it. It's a searcher. It's honestly just a really handy card. Seeing it in your hand is lovely. The only thing in this deck I think I'd really want to get to help it would be Thrusts. I don't have Thrusts at the moment, but Thrusts would be really nice to be able to just set Sweet Dreams from your deck. Or like any of my sort of board breaker cards, which like 2 Storm, 1 Duster. Back row can be a bit nasty to play against in this. Just overall really nice cards to have to help break boards. And then I run triple Imperm as my trap cards. Just another hand trap, which is good. But yeah, Thrusts is something I definitely would love to try out. If I ever get a playset, I might consider put 2 in this. Don't think I'd run 3 Thrust, but it's definitely like a shout out for that card. But the X deck is, honestly, the X deck doesn't really matter too much. It's kind of just like whatever you want. The ice cream cone and the spell lock you out of X deck the turn you use the FX. The deck's got quite odd restrictions. I say that's the worst thing about it. It has a lot of restrictions on it to stop it being like half decent, which is why I think they need like 1 or 2 new cards to help them. Because you've got stuff that restricts you from X deck, so you can't ever really use your extra deck. Which, as a lot of people probably know, unless your main deck has got really strong cards in, without the X deck, it's very hard to push and remove cards off the field. But you can occasionally go into X deck. It's just very hard to do that. So for XYZs, I run 1 Leave, 1 Zeus as my like rank up targets. So rank Leave on my trains and stuff, and Zeus into the other rank 10s I have. 1 Typhon. Typhon's just a good card. 1 Dark Infinity, 1 Rail Cannon, and 1 of the Tistiana. I run this because, in like a hypothetical, because I run Book of Eclipse. So if I could Book Eclipse that board and then rank 10 into this, I could just send the whole board to the grave. But it doesn't really ever come up again. Everything in here is just kind of a flex spot. This is nice because it's a 2k burn. Then that's all I run for XCs. Then for links, I run 1 Goddess. Sometimes you can swarm the board. Usually you're locked out of X deck, but somehow it survives till next turn. 1 Access Code, 1 BLS Soldier, because they're like 7 or highest. 1 Unicorn, which is removal. 1 Dark Charmer and 1 Light Charmer. I run these just in case I do manage to climb. Then I can potentially go into link plays without locking myself into X deck that turn. And then 1 Link Kuribo, 1 Link Garibo, and 1 Anima. These are the more important ones, I'd say. You can link your Dreaming Nemleria off into these. as long as you haven't locked yourself out of the X deck. Anem is probably the most used one, honestly, just to get rid of things. But like nib token, for example, because giving them a nib token is all great and all, but if, once it starts hitting over 5k, it becomes an issue to get rid of it. Even chocolate, like if they just end up ordering a nib token, chocolate can only get to 3k then. So these are definitely more important. This is nice in case you get a Ibly, and then of course these are nice if you got Dark Angel or something. But definitely I'd say that the link ones are more important. You don't need to worry too much about like randomly banishing stuff. Demon Nemleria will reset your extra deck most of the time, and majority of your stuff that banishes your extra deck face down is choice related. So you just get to choose. But yeah, honestly, you can just run anything you want in the X deck. Just change the ratios around you want. You can stick triple Typhon in because Typhon's still quite good. Like just to pop on your board. It might lock you out for something that turn, but he's still pretty solid card, honestly. But yeah, it's a really cool deck. I've just made it to OTK because I can see it's got that ability to just summon loads of big monsters. As long as you can break the board, you can usually OTK them. But like going first, I'd probably consider using an adventure engine, honestly. Just to get like Griffin Ride on the board to have that negate. The deck doesn't need its normal summon except for like Grand Margie, which again isn't like a key piece. If you're not OTKing, Grand Margie is not that useful. But yeah, there's definitely some other variants of this you could use. It's just I considered OTK the more like better option in my opinion. But yeah, a lot of times people will just, if they don't understand how the deck works, that's what like loses them the game. But it's if they understand how Nemleria works, it's quite easy to beat this deck. But yeah, anyway, thanks. Bye.